What's good, everybody? It's the Clown of a Cab Show, UFC 269. I cannot wait. We got the champion, Charles Obera, versus Dustin Poirier. I think this is a great matchup. And obviously, we have another championship fight, the GOAT. The greatest of all time, the greatest woman fighter of all time, Amanda Nunes versus Juliana Pena. I think that's going to be a great matchup as well. Amanda Nunes definitely is the GOAT. I mean, she's been dominating for the past 6-7 years right now. I mean, dude, she's on a 12-fight win streak, which is insane. Amanda Nunes, the GOAT. But Charles Obera, I'm telling you what, a lot of people are doubting him, writing him off. I'm telling you, he's a dangerous fighter. Yes, he has the most submissions in UFC history. He's 31-8 in the UFC. I'm telling you what, if Charles Obera beats Dustin Poirier, I think it's on the ground. You have to get Dustin Poirier on the ground. We saw Dustin Poirier fight one of the GOATs, as a lot of fans' GOATs, Khabib. And Khabib took Poirier down and beat him there. But I just think for Poirier right now, yes, he does have the momentum. He has a lot of stuff going for Poirier. Poirier 28-6 in the UFC, won no contest. Same thing for Charles Obera. I just think for Poirier, you want this fight standing. I mean, that's the way it goes. And I think, for Poirier, if the fight does go on the ground and Poirier's on the bottom, this is not a good thing because Charles Obera will submit you. I mean, most submissions in UFC history, I mean, dude, that is insane. That is such a high skill level, and they've both been in the UFC for over a decade. I mean, these guys have been around, and really, they started their careers really young, and they just worked from the bottom all the way up. Both of them have similar careers, up and down. We saw a lot of down swings in both these men's careers, but, at the end of the day, man, they're fighting for this lightweight title that Charles Obera has currently. And to me, they're both champions in my eyes. Obviously, we saw Poirier fight McGregor, like 4 or 5 months ago. And really, that fight was kind of like, wow. It was really, I think Dustin Poirier is hungry. I think he's one of the most hungry UFC fighters today right now, and we saw that against McGregor. McGregor looked good for the first 2 minutes of that fight, and then really Poirier started to pour it on him. Throwing rights, throwing uppercuts, throwing big punches. Really punches that McGregor filled it, and then we saw Poirier take him to the ground, and then we saw McGregor snap his leg. That's bad. I do think they will get another rematch, but for Poirier right now, I think for him, yes, the pressure's on him, but I think, a lot of the pressure's on Charles Obera. You're the champion. You got to defend the championship belt. So I think for him, his goal, you got to get it. You got to get this fight on the ground. I think that the fight's going to stand. I think it's going to be Dustin Poirier all day with a knockout. I really do believe that. I just think for Charles, you got to mix it up. I mean, we saw him fight Max Holloway, and he got hurt early in that fight. I just think Charles Obera, he will shoot. He will try to take Dustin Poirier down. And really, Dustin Poirier, his normal weight, walking around, is like 170, 180. So to cut at 155 is crazy, dude. I think that's super hard to be a true fighter, is cutting weight, skipping meals, in the sauna, dude. Cutting weight is not fun. That's probably one of the worst things about being a fighter is cutting weight. Then obviously getting punched in the face. That's not fun either. But, I mean, these guys, I'm telling you what, this is going to be an epic fight. A championship fight. Who am I leaning towards right now? I would say Justin Poirier. I would say I'm leaning more towards him, but, all the media, everybody's like kind of writing Charles Obera off, and I'm thinking, wow, dude, all it takes in the UFC is one or two mistakes. That's it. You're done. You lose the fight. So I think for Charles Obera, you got to get this fight on the ground. You do not want to stand with Dustin Poirier because we saw, I mean, he's really dogging McGregor. And McGregor, yes, we understand his hunger's gone, completely gone. I do think McGregor will be out of the UFC in the next couple years just because of the hunger. He's so rich right now, he doesn't need to fight anymore like some of these cats. Now, for Obera, you got to do it, dude. I'm rooting for Obera. I want to see the underdog win. Plus 140 right now for the champion, which is crazy, right? Coming into the fight where a champion's the underdog. But, I just think, for Obera, you got to mix it up. Now, I will say the advantage is definitely Dustin Poirier. Now, who am I going to pick in this title fight? I'm going to lean on Dustin Poirier. But who am I wanting to win? I want Charles Obera to win, dude. I really do. His story's amazing, dude. I just like the guy. I really do, man. Just the way he carries himself. He's a humble fighter. And nowadays, in the fight game, it's more about, I'm just going to talk crap about you. I'm going to talk crap about your family and try to sell more tickets. But, Dustin Poirier and Charles Obera aren't those type of guys. Aren't those type of fighters where, I'm just going to bash your family. I'm going to bash everything about you. Try to get under your skin, which I get that. That's part of the fight game. But, now it's like people are talking fights. They're talking into their own fight. And it's just like, at the end of the day, when that octagon gets shut, there's no more talking here. There's no more there's no more this and that. I'm telling you what, when they get locked in the cage, it's like, all right, who's going to show up? Who's going to be the real fighter? You can't run. Straight up. So, I obviously, momentum-wise, I'm going Dustin Poirier. I think Poirier will knock Charles Obera out. I really do. I think Charles Obera's weakness is sometimes he gets settled in and where he's throwing heavy shots where his chin's wide open, his body's open. I think Charles Obera does win with the upset if he takes it to the ground, but ultimately I'm going Poirier here. I think Poirier's proved from time to time in the past couple years that he's really, truly going to be a champion one day. And I seen it. We seen it against McGregor. And I'm telling you what right now, and obviously I picked McGregor in that matchup, which was dumb, which was completely dumb. The more hungry fighter will probably most likely win the fight. So I'm going Dustin Poirier. I think he's going to knock him out in the second or third round. In the later rounds, kind of get a feel for him. I just think that's really going to happen. But I'm rooting for Charles Obera. I want to see him win, dude. I really do. I do. But I just think for Dustin Poirier, he's got better ground. He's got good takedown defense. And I think this is going to be an epic fight. I really do. But I'm leaning more towards Poirier, a.k.a. the Diamond. And if he becomes the champion, what's next for Poirier? Are we going to see a McGregor Poirier round 4? Who knows? I think we will eventually. It's just hard to tell, but I'm telling you what, Dustin Poirier, I like him with a knockout over Charles Obera. And then we got the GOAT, the greatest women's fighter of all time, Amanda Nunes, a.k.a. the Lioness, dude. 21-4 in the UFC, and really she's been dominating for so long now. We go all the way back to the Ronda Rousey fight where she really pieced up Ronda Rousey. Ronda Rousey changed the sport for the UFC for women's fighters 100%. I love Ronda Rousey. Her story's inspiring. It's like a story to never give up. You can accomplish your dreams by doing anything. I love that. But, Amanda Nunes, there's something different about her. The way she carries herself, the way she's walking out to that octagon, on and off the, in the fight and off the fight. She just carries herself like a leader. She's a true leader. She's a true champion. I mean, she beat Holly Holm, knocked out Holly Holm with the leg kick, and Holly Holm's normally known for the kickboxer. So it's like, man, Holly Holm, she's an expert at that area. She got knocked out. Misha Tate, she pieced her up, really beat her up badly. And then we had Valentina Shevchenko, beat her twice. Valentina's one of the best women's fighters right now. Beat her. Those were close fights. I do think Valentina and Amanda Nunes should get that round 3, 100%. I think that'd be great for the UFC, but for Amanda Nunes right now, she's on a 12-fight win streak, and she really can't be beat. And the thing that separates Amanda Nunes from the rest of the UFC fighters, I'm telling you what, right now is her ability to do it all. She can stand with you. She can throw leg kicks. She can throw heavy punches at you. She can also take you down. She can submit you. She can ground and pound you. She can really do everything, dude. That's what makes Amanda Nunes the GOAT, aka the Lioness, dude, because she can do it all. She can do it all. So I think, she's gonna have another display. Yes, Juliana, she doesn't have any pressure on her. She has nothing to lose. Okay, she's 11-4 in UFC. She's more of a ground fighter. So she's at some point, I do see in this fight that she's gonna shoot for the takedown. She's gonna try to take Amanda Nunes down. Yes, we saw it earlier in Amanda Nunes' career. She did lose a couple fights, getting grounded and pounded. So if I'm Juliana, yes, eventually go for the takedown. But you're fighting Amanda Nunes here, so she's gonna be ready for that. One of the best takedown defenses in UFC. So I think for Amanda Nunes, everything's rolling in her favor. Yes, she was supposed to fight a couple months ago, got COVID, but I just think she's been running through it all, dude. She's been running through all the division. And I think for, Amanda Nunes right now, it's like, what really motivates her to, like, continue to win, continue to defend titles, continue to get the W's, and she does it in different each way. That's what's great about it. Really, though, Cyborg, the Amanda Nunes fight against Cyborg, and that fight was like, oh, wow, Cyborg, like, she has heavy power, and we saw Amanda Nunes keep hitting that overhand right on Cyborg and knocked her out. And it took like 10 overhand rights, but still, it was just like, oh my gosh. And Cyborg was supposed to be one of the best women fighters that we've seen, dude, in the past couple decades. And like, she just knocked her out. And like I said, the Ronda Rousey fight, knocked Ronda Rousey out. And credit to Ronda Rousey, she didn't like fall on the mat like Cyborg did. She was actually like standing up, getting knocked out, pieced up. Herb Dean had to stop the fight because, I don't blame him. You have to protect the fighters. And really, it was all Amanda Nunes that fight. And I think for Ronda Rousey, she just really met the GOAT there. The GOAT, the greatest women's fighter fighter of all time, dude. I'm telling you right now. I just think for Amanda Nunes, man, like, I'm inspired by her whole story, how she got there to her spot right now, and I think it's great for the UFC. I think Amanda Nunes right now is one of the biggest stars in the UFC today right now. You know, yes, we could say McGregor, yeah, he pulls in the best pay-per-view numbers and all that, but I'm talking about winning. I'm talking about being a true champion day in and day out, defending your belt, you know, day in and day out. And I love McGregor, you know, one of the guys who had 2 belts, dude, BJ Penn, you know, Randy Couture, those type of guys, man, they changed the game. You know, McGregor, he changed the UFC forever. He will always be a champion, but Amanda Nunes, the way she does it, dude, it's awesome. You know, and she's been doing it for years. She's been at the top for a long time, and I think she's going to be at the top for as long as Amanda Nunes really wants to. You know, I think for the least 5 years, maybe all up until 2030, which sounds crazy. It's 2021 right now, the next 9 years, but I see Amanda Nunes really just dominating here. You know, I really do. You know, yes, if she gets upset by Juliana's going to have to take her down, submit her, you know, do something like that in that ballpark. But, you know, like I said, I'm going Amanda Nunes all day, the champion. I think she's going to continue to win. She's gonna get beat. I believe when it's all said and done, Amanda Nunes is gonna have like a 25 win streak in UFC. You know, she's gonna defend the title. You know, more than John Jones eventually. I do see that becoming a reality for her if she just stays with it. You know, yes, if she retires early like Khabib, we saw Khabib retire really in his prime in a lot early. You know, so that was crazy. But I just think for Amanda Nunes, she's the GOAT, man. I got her over Juliana all day, man. I really do. And then we have an up and coming fighter on this same card, Sean Sugar O'Malley. Dude, I'm telling you why I like this cat. You know, he's 14-1. He's a great striker. I just think some of his weaknesses, yes, is definitely his takedown defense. You know, it's only 60% takedown defense. I just think, you know, when you get to the highest level, you're going to have a better takedown defense than that. If you want to become champion in the UFC, you have to have a great takedown defense. And I think Sugar Shane, he's got to really, you know, improve in that area. You know, now, striking-wise, he's one of the best in the UFC right now. He's young. You know, and a lot of these fighters now, you know, we see them like, hey, they openly smoke weed. They don't care. You know what I'm saying? Whereas 20 years ago, if like some of these athletes were to like smoke weed, they would be like, bro, like you're cut off. You know, we're going to cut you off. We're going to cancel you off. Nowadays, it's like, dude, you know, be you. You can smoke dope if you want now. And we saw Sugar Sean, dude, you know, you smoke it dope. And I like that, dude. I like him. I think he's going to be a great fighter if he dedicates his life to it. You know, don't get into, you know, we see some of the greats. I think the greatest of all time is definitely John Jones. And really, you know, we see all the stuff that's really happening in his life outside the octagon. And I just don't want that to happen to O'Malley, dude. I really don't. I just think for him, dude, he's got to have that straight edge, you know, mind. You know, just don't let it get to you some things. But, you know, this isn't an easy fight. He's fighting a cat that's 21-3. He's on a 3-fight win streak. Rulan Puvana. He's a good fighter. He's an all-around fighter, and this is not an easy fight for Sugar Sean. It's really not, dude. If he goes into this like he's just gonna like dominate from head to toe, he's gonna have to, you know, be humble about it. Like straight up. Like any time in the UFC, one mistake is all it takes. You know, and that's that, dude. I think for Sugar Sean, dude, you got to win this fight. You have to. If you want to get to the top and get to that belt, you can't lose. Yes, you do. Yes, UFC fighters do lose every now and then, but, you know, some fights like this, you're on the main card of the UFC 269 with Dustin Poirier. You got to get the dub here. You got to. So, you know what? I'm going to go Sugar Sean. I like him. I think he's going to knock him out with the crazy leg kick, something like that. Now, if the other cat wins, it's by him taking him down and just ground and pound him, just really manhandling him. You know, and I think for Sugar Sean, dude, like, you know, he is a skinny guy. He really is. That doesn't mean he can fight. I just think the way you throw your weight and the way you defend takedowns, you got to throw your weight differently. You know, you can't just box with him the whole time. I feel like, you know, in the UFC, at one point, your opponent's going to try to take you down. Eventually, right? Unless you guys are just great wrestlers. But, you know, at some point, the opponent's going to try to take you down. You're going to have to realize that. You know, you don't never want to get taken down, okay? I never want to get taken down in a fight. Like, that's one of the worst things that can happen, besides getting knocked out, is getting taken down to the ground and you're on your back. That's no fun. But I like Sugar Sean all day here. Then we got Cody Garbrandt, a.k.a. No Love, man, versus Cara France, man. This guy's nice. I like Cody a lot, man. I do. He's a great striker, one of the best. I'm telling you what, dude, he's 12-4 in the UFC. Now, this France, he's 22-9, won no contest. He's no pushover. He's really all-around fighter. He can do it all. But for Cody, if he wins this fight, you got to keep it on the feet. You got to. Don't let him take you down. Just box with him, kick with him. And really, Cody, he's got, like, crazy power for how small he is, how the weight is. I'm telling you what, we saw in one of his fights where he just threw an overhand right and the guy just dropped. Just straight dropped like a bag of ice. It was just like, what the heck, dude? The power in those punches. That is crazy. That is crazy. So I'm going to go Cody, a.k.a. No Love. I like him with the knockout here. I think he wins. I don't want it to go to decision here, by majority decision or split decision. I think, Cody, he wins here by standing up, standing on your feet, and really just picking them apart, throwing jabs, throwing hooks, throwing body shots. And I think that's the key to a lot of these fights is throwing body shots early. Make them, especially if it's a championship fight, a 5-round fight, throw some body shots. Get him hurt, get him fatigued. So when he is feeling the body shots in the 3rd and 4th and 5th round, he'll start to slow down. He won't move as fast. So, I like Cody in that one all day here. But the championship fight, all day I'm going Amanda Nunes. I would put a lot of money on Amanda Nunes here. The parlays are definitely hard, to say, yes, Dustin Poirier and Amanda Nunes. That would be a good parlay. I would consider that a good parlay. Now, it's risky. It's really risky because they're both championship fights. You don't know what's going to happen. But if you're going to do a one-fight pick, definitely Amanda Nunes here. 100%. Now, I could put a 4-fight parlay on this one and hit them all, right? It's just hard to. It's really hard. But, Amanda Nunes, I think she's going to dominate from start to finish. And the thing, like I said, she could do it all. She could stand with you. She could take it to the ground. She really does it all, man. She really does. And I think Amanda Nunes, she has a great chin, really underestimated chin, but it honestly hasn't been tested that much because that's how good she is to not get hit, right? So I love Amanda Nunes all day here, but the championship fight, obviously, Dustin Poirier, I think, obviously I want to see Charles Obera win, but I just think for Dustin Poirier, the momentum he's got right now, I think he's really one of the hungriest fighters in the UFC today. One of them, the top 3 hungriest fighters, and I want to see him get the championship belt, that lightweight title. I think it's going to happen. It's going to be a reality for him. And both these cats, man, Charles and Dustin, dude, they've been in the UFC for over a decade. They've been grinding to get to the top. Look how long it took them. Look at Colonel Sanders, the KFC owner. It took him over 60 years to get to the top, dude. So, in time, as long as you dedicate it and continue to work hard, you could do it, man. And I think Dustin Poirier is going to come out victorious. I think he's going to be the champion. And I think for Dustin Poirier, it's a dream come true. It really is, dude. From really just up and down career all the way to the championship, it's going to be great, baby. But my lock pick of the weekend is definitely Amanda Nunes all day. The GOAT, baby. It's UFC 269. It's the Clown with Cam show. Let's go!